Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with thelibertybeacon.com. And I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another special version of ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast. Normally politics, we're not dealing in politics today. We're dealing in affairs of the heart and human connection, a Valentine month special. We're not going to drop right on Valentine's Day. We're going to drop early. And joining me is Chantal, although it's spelled Chantal, not an E in there, and it's CH, not SH, Chantal. Important, of course, since we're going to be talking about your book. We want them to be able to find you on DuckDuckGo, Jibberoo, and FreeSpoke and all that. And it's Landreville. What's the proper French pronunciation?
Well, you said it pretty good. Chantal Landreville, if you want me to do the French thing.
Yeah,
but you said it really beautifully, and thank you.
Well, and it's spelled Landreville. Ville, because I already caught myself in my notes writing Landerville.
Yes.
So we want to make sure people, and I'm sensitive to pronunciation because my last name, Leonard, without an O, people look at it and assume French, Leonard.
Yes, Leonard, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get all that. We want to make sure they've got your name spelled. But anyway, you're here because you're an expert on the Valentines Day Massacre, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the massacre, Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah. No, that is not what this Valentine's special for February is about. Chantal is known as a human connection expert, and we'll be talking about that and her upcoming book that's dropping on the 14th. Pre-sales now, and we'll get into all that in a minute. But first, for those viewing on, I've got a silly question. Well, it's half tongue-in-cheek, half serious question that I'm dying to ask first. For those viewing on the behind-the-scenes video cast, you could see, because yes, in these specials, I do worry about my wardrobe. What should I wear that's appropriate for this episode? And you might see I'm wearing my Holy Cow Creamery shirt, which is the local sweet shop. Well, Valentine's Day, right? Sweets for your sweets, right?
I love it.
Normally, it's traditionally the box of chocolate and the red heart. But I'm wondering, and if you're ever in Wyandotte, Michigan, please head up to Northline and go to see Tyler and the crew at Holy Cow Creamery. I always order a root beer a la mode. And for those who don't get it, that's a root beer float.
Wow, your way of saying it is much better. You just told it to me.
That's our inside joke. I always joke with Tyler that he should change the name of it on the availability board to root beer a la mode because it sounds so much fancier. He could charge more, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
At any rate, my question is then why I'm wearing the Holy Cow Creamery shirt as a prop. Is it cheap or sweet to take your sweet to your local sweet shop and share a banana split?
Oh, that's cute. I actually like that. I think it's sweet.
Okay, that's good. Some I think might think, oh, what a cheap bastard. But
No, it's like share. I like the idea that you said sharing, where you're like ordering one and sharing 2 spoons and sitting down. It's like a connection
exactly.
time. And we
Exactly.
often tend to make it has to be big, but sometimes it's the little things that matter the most.
That's right. That's the way I see it. I'm an old romantic. But again, I mean, I've been out of the dating market for decades, so I might be considered an old fart rather than old-fashioned. Not a traditionalist, but an old fogey. At any rate, give us an explanation first what a human connection expert would be. I guess that's an obvious first question.
Yes, actually, I love that question. And well, so people can also understand, I'm a certified love and relationship coach, but through my journey getting here, I used to be in sales all of my life. I worked in fashion, I worked in the wine business for over 20 years, and the talent I discovered that I had was a really great active listening skills. And when you are listening to people and curious about people, people will definitely confide extremely well within you. So I really, really thrive because I'm a natural curious and I love people. I love to understand where you're from, the journey of your life. I'm just really, really fascinated. So a human connector for me is having interest in getting to know someone and being curious about it, right? We're so disconnected right now from human connection, especially since COVID. So I've seen the results of what human connection can actually create. And whether that's at home in your, marriage and your romantic relationship, at work with your friends and your family, it's a huge difference. So human connector for me is building relationships with people. I love connecting people with the right people when I feel it's time. I have this innate instinct of when I need to introduce a person to another. That also involves matchmaking.
Yeah, well,
I've been really.
You mentioned the Wuhan virus, so obviously the lockdown, so human connections or the lack thereof.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
my concern is not so much for us as adults, but what it did to our children, but that's not what we're here to discuss.
Whole other conversation.
But yeah, I mean, social interaction we are discussing, and the importance of that, our children developing social skills in their early formative years is important. But let's get to the book, the serious question at hand. And first, let's have you grab a copy and hold it up close to the camera. There it is. What is it? It is called Raise Your Love Signal.
Yes.
Okay, I've got to write that down because I hadn't written it down yet.
Wrote that down. Write that down, Joseph. Write that down. Raise your love signal. And it's a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life, because when we are on the journey to love and we're looking for love, it's literally what we want. We want to be able to keep and sustain our relationship, right?
Yeah. Now, again, we've hinted at this is going to drop officially on Valentine's Day 2024, but pre-sales are available now where?
So if you, I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes, but on my website, www.raiseyourlovesignal. So we only have one thing to remember: title of the book, title of the website. You will get a pop-up right there where it's a pre-order link. So it's available obviously on Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, Kindle. So all the links will be there accessible for you, and you can go pick the one you prefer.
Okay, now that's raiseyourlovesignal.com. Okay.
.com, yes.
Yeah, mine is a .info for my book because unfortunately, I still haven't checked. they were supposed to, the internet people, I'm a former IT guy, they've been promising a .book extension for years. I don't know if they finally ever got around to it, but we need a .book extension to make it obvious, right?
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, you're looking for a book, you would think .book. It'd be, but you
need to get on them, Joseph.
Yeah. This will probably be an obvious answer, but I've got to ask the obvious question then. Why this book?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ed Bondarenka, and I host Your American Heritage on Saturdays at 2 in the afternoon on this station. Your American Heritage is a show about the struggle we find ourselves in and how to react to it in the light of our biblical and American heritage. Listen to it while you're working around the house, the garage, cleaning the guns, walking the dog, driving, or just lazing around. Join me at 2 o'clock Saturdays here on Wham Radio, 1600 AM, 92.7 FM.
God bless America.
It's not such an obvious question, actually, or answer either. So why this book? So through my own personal journey, I was single for almost just a little under 18 years, constantly struggling, not able to, well, I would say always attracting unavailable, emotionally unavailable partners. And, I would hear things like, well, maybe you're too intimidating, or, you're not to this, or you're too much of that. So I really started questioning who I was and what was wrong with me. And that did not take me to necessarily a great place, because I started diminishing who I was and trying to tone down my personality, which, why do we want to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't accept us? So when I kept on hearing, maybe you're too picky, you're too demanding, you start questioning yourself. Well, maybe I am. And through those 18 years, the one thing that saved me was that I was always, as my curiosity about people and trying to understand who they are and connect with them, I had a massive passion for learning all things self-development, like massive. There's not much that I didn't see, try, explore, do, name it, the book, the conference, the speaker, tantra, ayahuasca, plant medicine, like name it, I've tried it and done it. So when I actually found my amazing partner, now we've been together for 5 years, I realized three things. One was that, it's already super hard to put yourself out there and attract the right partner. Number two is that we've never been taught the skills on how to actually be in relationships. So you can actually find the right partner and not be equipped to succeed in your relationship long term. So, and number three, I realized, oh my God, I have all this knowledge, everything I've learned, and I've been able to apply it to my own relationship and to myself. And I've seen the results. So the book is literally the best of everything I've learned over the last 20 years and the hundreds of thousands of dollars it cost me, all in one place.
And we get to buy your expertise cheap. Yeah. That's good. Thank you.
Exactly.
I am indeed a cheapskate, going back to the banana split idea. I am indeed a cheapskate, so that's good. I don't want to have to pay thousands of dollars for the advice. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned intimidation. I think it's more a male self-esteem issue that they feel intimidated by beautiful women, because I've heard this in interviews of models, right? Saying they have a tough time at times on the dating scene because that word, they feel others are intimidated by their beauty and, their status, because, they're seen on magazines or wherever as a model. So people just assume, oh, well, they're dating some rich guy, which may or may not be the case. They may be available and indeed looking, but it's the male low esteem issue, or that's more than, because for those looking on video, you're certainly not some brutish, mannish, kind of intimidating person. You've sort of answered this already. What's in the book? Do you want to give maybe chapter titles, one or two, or?
Well, I'll make it easy for you. And before I answer that question, I would just love to touch back on what you said, where men sometimes can struggle, but I want women and men to understand that if you are threatened or feel insecure in any way and intimidated by someone's beauty, because it could happen. I remember, being attracted to these really hot men that was like, he would never date me ever. And it actually happened to me once in my dating journey that, I met this amazing hot model guy that was into me because of my personality, not because of my looks. So one of the things that I circle back to what I talk about in the book. One of the things I talk about a lot is self-love and your self-worth. This is something for us to succeed in any given relationship. We have to really own our own worth and praise what we do have, right? Instead of focusing on, I'm not good enough, I don't have this, I don't have that. And this was something that I learned very late in life. And I wish I would have learned it young, because when I was going through that cycle, my God, I remember so many nights crying myself to sleep because, I didn't think I was pretty enough, that I was skinny enough, that I was, it was crazy. But here I am. I had this like a massive, great personality, very knowledgeable. I had other assets. So I would invite people, if you feel that way, threaten any way, work on your self-worth and your self-love, because it's super important. You have no idea what the other person is looking for in front of you. And, looks is one thing, but maybe people are actually attracted to personality and good brains and, knowledge of the world and politics or whatever it may be. So the book is actually divided in 3 love lessons. I've divided in 3 love lessons. So the first one is your want. Your want. I love this because most people, when they're looking for love, I ask them, do you actually know what you want? And everybody says yes. And I'm like, okay, let's hear it. Let's describe it. And it's very vague. And funny enough, too, it's like everybody has the same wants, what they want out of a relationship and a partner. So I really dive deep into this, because when we are looking for love, we often make it about the partner. I want him to be successful. I want her to be a great cook. I want him to be financially well off. I want her to, be a great dancer, whatever. Very, very self-absorbed and very superficial. But we never think about, how do we want to grow and evolve in our relationship? What are the core values that I need to make sure that I can, once the fire's out and this like honeymoon phase, how do I make sure I'm taken care of in my relationship? How do I want to be treated when we go through an argument? How do I want to raise my kids with this person? And it's crazy how, I would say the average person does not take the time to really go through that thought process. And when you've been on the dating journey and you're not succeeding, this is a really great exercise to help you avoid dating burnout and not get trapped or blindsided with poor quality dates, because you get wiser, you filter better, and you're not afraid to stick to what you're looking for. Love lesson number 2 is all about what I just mentioned before: self-love, worth, understanding why you are the way you are. Because, when we show up in relationship the way we do or not, and we've had these patterns or beliefs. So for example, in my case, I kept attracting unemotional, available people. I had to look hard at myself and understand, why am I doing this? So, and all of these things are rooted to childhood, because our first example of love are our parents. And whether they were good, whether they were bad, whether they were there, whether they were not, this is the root of why you have become who you are in adult life. And all of this is already decided for you before you hit the age of 6, which is pretty crazy. So it's really important to understand that part. It's a little bit more intense in the book, but it also like gives you so much insight on who you are today and why you show up the way you do. And love lesson number 3 is all the ABCs of helping you through your dating journey, the to-dos, the not, and some really, really great advice on how to navigate through it. And also the fundamentals you need to learn before going into your relationship, ideally, things you need to put into place and practice before you go into your relationship, and things that you actually need if you want to sustain a long-term, healthy, committed relationship. So it's literally A to Z. It's not just A, B, C. So wherever you are in your dating journey, you have something to learn. And that's why I call it a guide, because it's a short book. I wanted to create something that was easy to read, great storytelling, also a little funny. You love a great sense of humor, as and I think that when we're talking about difficult topics like this, it's nice to be able to laugh about ourselves and laugh about the situation. Humor is a great healer. So and sometimes we think we know it all, but we forget. I fall off the wagon all the time in my own relationship. So this book is a really great way for me to, oh yeah, I need to, I stopped doing this. I need to get back on the bandwagon and start, practicing what I teach all the time. I catch myself.
Three things I think you kind of brought up I want to touch back on. You mentioned the honeymoon period. Now, obviously, when a relationship is fresh and new, we generally look through rose-colored glasses and or, unfortunately, project what we hope and want from a person rather than see maybe what they really are. And that can be a danger. I don't want to dwell on that, though, but beauty, if you go back to, is indeed in the eye of the beholder. I mean, it's open to interpretation, and there is someone for everyone. Whether you think you're beautiful or not is not relevant. It's how others perceive you. And I like, when people think beauty, they think, oh, drop dead gorgeous models, right? But no, I like to say the story or the tale of two Emmas, all right? Because I like to think beauty has different categories, drop dead gorgeous. And again, I like to use the tale of two Emmas, Emma Stone and Emma Watson. Because a whole lot of different people, of course, including me, think they're both beautiful in their own unique and different way. Emma Stone, now, you look at her, and not to be insulting, I'd say this tongue in cheek, she's got the gray alien big eye look,
Yeah.
But she's what I call, oh, part of my microphone fell off. The hiss filter fell off. Hopefully we'll be okay. But Emma Stone, with those big eyes, she's got not that exact symmetrical type beauty that science would categorize as drop dead gorgeous. I call her intriguing beauty. As Emma Watson, she's got the short hair, I think, still, the perpetual youthful, cute look.
Yeah.
I call it terminally cute.
Terminally cute. I like that.
Right? So there's different categories of beauty, and you fit, no matter what you think about yourself, you fit into one of them. It's just, because the third thing, Martin Luther King Jr., content of character and not judging a book by its cover, right?
Yeah.
We often are attracted based on appearance at first, but a lasting relationship has to be built on understanding, getting to know, and meshing content of each other's character.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because beauty is, it's just one thing. So beauty shows up in many different ways, and it's not just physical. It's who the person is.
Inner beauty.
Inside. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. You'll go to a party or you're attending a networking event, and there's a person that comes in, and you're just drawn to them because of their magnetic energy. Right? They have a lot of charm, or they're funny, and they're not even good looking whatsoever. So as we say in French, chaque guenille has à son torchon. Every rag has its cloth. And that's the beauty of things. Nobody's the same, so we're not attracted to all the same things. And I think what I've loved about the last couple of years, especially with social media, and we're seeing it in I go back to like the fashion world of models. We're seeing all kinds of different shapes, size, and like the beauty has been really expanded to, A, B, or C. So, and I love that, because it just goes to show how, you can be very different and not have to fit into a specific category.
This is kind of now off topic, but not, I mean, regarding beauty. I think there is an issue of the expansion of beauty, right? Like you're talking about, the different alternative size, we'll say, models on covers, right? Now, I think there is a danger, however, and a difference between, heavier is still beautiful, but, and I don't want to be insulting. I'm not trying to fat shame, but people's health is a concern. And this is where I'm getting off topic. The fat normalization. No, I don't want to say that. Fat can be beautiful, right? Heavier can be beautiful.
Yeah, let's use heavier.
The normalization of obesity is what worries me.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Lizzo may be a wonderfully talented musician, but the normalization of her size and making her a role model over that worries me a little. But again, I don't really want to dwell or go down that road with you. But,
no, let's focus on what we have we're scheduled to talk about.
At any rate, my verbal crutch that I've developed lately as my segue. At any rate, the obvious question that I will ask anyway, just to be able to get back to the book, why this release date? Duh, but I'm asking anyway.
Well, and this because you've written a book, and the author's journey. I mean, it's really hard being an author today. It's not what it used to be 20, 30 years ago. And you really have to distinct yourself, because you're a raindrop amongst all the other rain that falls. So I was trying to be strategic in the timing I could release it. And when I thought about Valentine's Day, it's a holiday that I have a love-hate relationship with, and you're going to love this because you talked about Massacre. But I remember being single and, again, kicking and screaming, I can't wait to be in a relationship to be able to, celebrate this holiday, and just feeling all the shame and the guilt of being by myself and single. But I've never not celebrated Valentine's Day as much since I've been in my relationship, because my relationship with Valentine's Day and the perception I had of it has completely changed. It's the day of love, and it's not romantic love. It's so many kinds of difference of love. And I think we forget what that means, because it's kind of like the holidays, right? Just social media has like overextended and puts all this pressure and things that we need to do. So it creates so much expectations. We're really forgetting the meaning behind it, which is celebrating love. Where holidays, it's celebrating people you love coming together and celebrating together. So Valentine's Day for me was a natural thing, because I wanted to, what a better way to obviously release a book about love, my journey. And my journey to love was not only with my romantic partner, it was a massive part was with myself. And when I asked people to define what love means to them, the one thing that I realized, even as I was doing the research and my coffee table talks with men and women to get to see what they needed and wanted, was love was always about other people. It was never about themselves. Never did I hear self-love, which was really interesting to me. And my journey, finding love, has also been a big part of it. The success of my relationship today is the relationship I have to myself and the love that I give myself. So I think that's why it was important for me to really sit on Valentine's Day.
It's hard to be able to give yourself in physical and emotional aspects and respects. If you don't first, at least, if not fully love yourself, at least respect yourself.
Correct.
And I'm glad I asked what I thought might be a silly question, because that was a great answer. And indeed, I mean, Valentine's Day, right? We get caught up in the secularist of it and the commercialism of it. It's why some people don't like Christmas these days, right? It's gotten so commercialized, and the pressure on the gift giving aspect as opposed to the being there to share in the love with each other, and this being a ChristiTutionalist, a Christian program of love with and of God, of course.
Yes.
So I guess it wasn't such a stupid question after all. Yay me.
Zero. No questions are stupid. No questions are ever stupid.
To start to wrap things up and close things out, if you were to have me ask a question I've not asked yet, what would that question and answer be?
Oh, that's a good one. I would ask, why are people struggling so much today in either finding love or staying in a relationship? You want to ask me, or you want me to answer my own question?
Go ahead and I
okay.
think it's rhetorical now. Well, not rhetorical. That's the wrong word. But yeah, it's on the table now. Go
it's
for
on the table
it.
now.
Yeah.
So one thing I realized as I was doing, writing the book, and through, again, my own personal journey, I realized that we have this misconception about what love really means. We've been so rom-com and Disney-fied about love. So we have this fantasy. We are in love with the idea of being in love. But that kind of love is not enough, and it won't help you in a long-term, healthy, committed relationship with the ups and downs of life, with kids, financial bullshit happening, whatever, just pardon my language, all of that good stuff, right? So I would invite people to really think about, what is my relationship to love, and what do I want my relationship with love to be? Because I realized that doing exactly what I just described all my life never worked out for me. So when I started dating my boyfriend, one of the things that I had decided was to do things very, very differently. One of them was showing up like my true authentic self, not pretending to be someone I wasn't, not trying to hide someone, things, flaws, or pretending to like things that I did because I really wanted to be liked, or I was,
that only hurts you in the long run if you're not honest with yourself and the other person, right?
Yes, exactly. And knowing what I wanted my relationship with love to be really transformed how I was going about dating. It wasn't about the butterflies and the passion and the lust. It was more about getting to know someone and building a strong foundation, and seeing how that person would show up with the value system that I had, identified that I was looking for. So let's say for you, you ask yourself that question, and what does love mean to you? And love to you means like excitement and joy and butterflies. Well, you're setting up yourself for failure. You'll be in constant relationships that, I call that the fire straw, where it's like really, really lights up really quickly and then dies down. If your relationship with love and what you've seen were toxic and screaming and verbal abuse, for example, well, you'll attract narcissistic people, or, just toxic partners. If your relationship with love is like always seeing people giving, you're always giving, and not making room to receive, well, that's going to create an imbalance. So it's really important to identify what your relationship with love is and what you want it to be. In my case, I wanted safety. I wanted acceptance. I wanted support. I wanted also freedom, because I'm a free bird. I travel the world. Being in the wine business previously to this, I was very socially engaging, and I would walk a room, and it was a very male dominated industry, so I couldn't be with someone that was insecure or felt threatened in any way, that they would just let me do and be who I was and feel safe. So by doing that exercise, I've realized for me what true love means is all of these things. It's safety because it gives me a sense of peace. I can show up and say a stupid thing and not feel that I'm going to be, threatened or the person will leave me. So you really need to think about that and how you want to grow and evolve with this person, because beauty is great, but it won't always stay. Money is great, but you might not have a partner that's sticking around to be there for you because they're working all the time. So there's so many things that you need to think about. So I just invite people to reevaluate everything that we've been taught about love. And when you find a person that has all those high qualities, you can build the fire. And that's what I've done. And I always say to my poor boyfriend, he's the guinea pig of my teachings. I'm more in love today in my relationship of 5 years than I was for the first 2 years, because we've invested, we hold each other to high standards, and we know it takes work. This morning we were saying we've both been working. I'm so crazy busy with the book launch. He's been working 60 hours a week, and I'm like, we need a date. Like, no, this is like, it's been 10 days that we're just flying by, seeing each other. So we hold each other to high standards, and I need to create the fire. So we both know. So we booked our date night this weekend, and I'm going to organize something fun to do the connection time. So, but you have to work and invest into the relationship. Most people just get lazy and just wait for their partners to do everything. And we have to take ownership ourselves.
Yeah, I'm glad you said make sure you go for the banana split after your date.
Yes.
And I'm glad we have something in common. I too was in the wine industry. That's why I'm now divorced. My ex-wife always says, you can see where the joke's going. I was constantly whining. But it's just a joke, people.
I love it.
I can never pass on the lame pun. And you know what? Like we talked about humor, things are so serious. You've got to have a sense of humor, and you've got to be able to laugh at yourself.
1,000%.
Or you've got no business laughing at anybody else.
No.
We've been talking with Chantal Landreville.
Yes.
And it sounds like there's an E in there, but it's Chantal, and the last name is not Landreville, Landreville. So tell us again the name of the book and the website with the proper dot extension so people know where they can find you.
Awesome. Thank you. So the name of the book is Raise Your Love Signal, a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life. And that can be found and purchased on my website, www.raiseyourlovesignal.com. You will have a little pop-up window that comes up that will take you to all the different links where you can purchase the book online.
Thank you for joining. This was a lot of fun. I knew it would be. Didn't I say in our email back and forth?
Yes.
I was really looking forward to this. I knew this was going to be fun.
Yes, I appreciate it. I'm happy that we did this and that you were persistent. Thank you.
Take care. God
Thank
bless
you.
everyone. And
God bless them.
definitely, if you've not found that love, human connection, definitely find it. And if you don't have it now, don't be depressed. Your time is coming. Just, Valentine's Day can cause depression in some. Your time is coming. As I always say, you don't know what tomorrow will bring until you carpe diem it, right?
Yes.
Just because today may not be your day, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year may be. All life matters. Hang in there.
Hang in there.
Now,
and celebrate yourself on Valentine's Day if you're single.
There you go. There you go.
Celebrate yourself.
Now I've got that stupid cat poster in my head. Hang in there, baby. Anyway, thank you again. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, no fancy high production intro or inserts, at least yet, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help to grow the show.
It is a myth that terrorism stopped during COVID. Unfortunately, mainstream media opted to prioritize pandemic hysteria over promoting all news. Terrorism continues. Simply hoping that it doesn't affect you is not a strategy. The new book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you, featured on The Author Show, is now available in paperback from bookstores, online, or as an ebook exclusively through Amazon Kindle. Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you by Joseph M. Leonard. Order today.